Hi everybody, welcome to my theory channel, and this is grade 4 theory time signatures. It's also a kind of an overview of time signatures, and it's specifically for my pupils who are writing a grade 4, just to remind them of the basic principles. Please excuse the unshaven look. It is lockdown, and I've decided to just grow a beard for this period of time. Great. So where do we start with time signatures? We start with this little time signature that comes at the beginning of a piece. And what we have to remember here is what it does is it signifies how many of what. And that would be what type of note. So that's the first thing. Whenever you see a time signature, just say how many of what. And that time signature pertains to what is happening in every bar. 2/4 in this case would be 2 crotchets. 2 crotchets. The 4 is a symbol of what the beat is or the note is, right? 2/4. How many of what? So the moment you see a time signature, just say how many of what. That's how many. This symbolizes the note in the bar, and don't get them mixed up. All right, so where do we go from here? What I want to show you is that there are 2 different types of time signatures, right? There is a simple time signature and a compound time signature. So I'm going to write this down here. A simple time signature means that the top number is either 2, 3, or 4, and a compound time signature means that the top number is 6, 9, or 12, and you basically just have to learn that. You have to keep that in mind. If you have to define a time signature, that is how you will do it. That's the first step. On the top, so when I mean on the top, it's this number here, 2, 3, or 4. So for instance, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4. These are all simple time signatures because there's a 2, a 3, or 4 on top. Right. Now, if I give you the other very basic time signatures like this that you will see very often, 6/8, 9/8, and 12/8, you'll see that these are all compound time signatures. Why? Simply because there's a 6, 9, or 12 on the top. Okay. Before we go on, I just want to remind you that the bottom number of a time signature, if it's 2, equals a minim. If it's 4, it equals a crotchet. If it's 8, it equals a quaver. And if it is 16, it equals a 16th note, like that. Okay, so just keep in mind that's the bottom number, and that bottom number symbolizes a note. Right. Sorry, I just wanted to backtrack and make sure that you understood it. Okay, so where do we go from here? We've got to understand the difference between a simple and a compound time signature. So here we have 2, 4. And what we have is 2 beats. So when you play this, and remember, music always relates to the person who plays it on paper. So when you play this, you're feeling 2 beats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Your body movement, in a sense, is feeling those 2 beats. Right. In 6/8 time, your body movement is also feeling 2 beats. But what do you notice? You notice that each beat is now dotted. So firstly, the main difference between simple time and compound time is that in compound time, the beat is dotted. Okay, if it's dotted, it has a different aspect to it. It means you can divide this note nicely up into 3 quavers. Okay, but this note here only divides nicely up into 2 quavers, and that's the biggest difference. In simple time, a beat divides perfectly down the middle. It lends itself to that. You know, here we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now if I tap out the beats in 6/8, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And every time my hand comes down on the beat, you'll see it divides the beat up into 3 very nicely. So the main difference is that where you feel the beat in a simple time, it divides nicely into 2. And where you feel the beat in 6/8, it divides nicely into 3. So for every beat in compound time, you can say strawberry, 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 strawberry. But it doesn't happen in simple time. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Please keep in mind the difference is that in a simple time signature, there is a beat, and the beat divides nicely into two, and it is not dotted, and in a compound time signature, it divides nicely into three, but it is a dotted beat. Okay, so let's have a look at the simple and compound time signatures, and the next step is to define them in words. Okay, so how do we do that? Right, we have 2/4. So we say to ourselves, right, this 2/4 is a simple time signature because there it is, 2, 3, and 4. But it's got 2 beats in it, and therefore we call it simple duple because you can see the 2 beats. Duple or duplet means 2, right? Here is 3/4, right? 3 crotchets. We know it's simple, 2, 3, or 4, but it has 3 beats in it, and therefore we call it simple triple. Okay, and the next one would be 4/4, and it has 4 beats. We know it's simple because there's a 4 on top, but it has 4 beats, and therefore we call it simple quadruple. Okay, so it's very important to understand how to define a time signature in those long words. Quad being like a quad bike with 4 wheels, 4 beats, simple quadruple. Okay, so in simple time, we get simple duple, simple triple, simple quadruple. All right, let's go to compound time signatures. And the 3 most common beats you'll see are 6/8, 9/8, and 12/8. Right, let's do 6/8. So 6/8 looks like this. It also has 2 beats. So therefore it is compound, 6, 9, and 12, 6, and it has 2 beats, so therefore it's compound duple. But a cool way of doing it in compound is just to divide 6 by 3. So divide this top number, that number, that number, that number by 3, and you'll get the answer. So this is compound duple. Right, let's do 9/8. So 9/8, which means 9 quavers, but grouped specifically in this way. 9 is compound. We have 3 groups. It's compound triple. Divide the 9 by 3 and you get the answer of 3. So it is triple. And then the last most common time signature for compound is 12/8. It has 4 main beats that you feel. Each beat can divide into 3, as I said. And if you divide 12 by 3, you'll come up with 4. Therefore, it is compound quadruple. Okay, so the very important thing here is to just start to realize the time signatures, what they represent. That's the first thing, what they represent, how many of what, and make sure that you get that down. Second step is that you have to be able to define them as simple or compound. Next step is to understand what simple and compound is. And then the last step is to be able to define them in what sounds like very complicated words: simple duple, triple, quadruple, or compound duple, triple, or quadruple. Right. Okay, next video.